Ready for the sparkliest ornaments ever? Today, I'm showing you 5 easy glitter techniques using inexpensive dollar store clear ornaments. Your tree is about to glow. Let's get sparkly. Alright, before we start on our glitter ornaments, I just want to quickly go over the supplies we're going to need for this project. So to start out with, we're going to need these clear plastic baubles or ornaments. Now, I like to work with plastic because I'm super clumsy, but you can also make these glitter ornaments with clear glass ornaments as well. Next is we're going to need, of course, our lovely glitter. Now, one thing to note with this glitter is I've heard that you get the best results if you use a finer glitter like that, like super fine glitter. So what I did was I grabbed this set at Michael's on sale and I looked for the label and it said fine glitter just to make sure I have the right kind, because I had no idea. When I went down the aisle, there was like so many different types and shapes of glitter. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for it. That being said, I did want to test the chunkier glitter as well. So I picked up another set from Michael's. And so for example, this one's little shapes of stars. And I'm going to test and I'm going to show you it towards the end of the video what it looks like and the coverage and the quality of the finer glitter versus the chunkier glitter. So the next thing we're going to need is some polyacrylic. One thing you do want to notice, or one thing you want to keep an eye out for, is the type of finish that the polyacrylic comes in. So it comes in various finishes, and the one that you'd want to use is either clear satin, a semi-gloss, or a gloss. I would stay away from the matte finish because that could take away the glitter and shine from your glitter, like the actual glitter, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a shiny ornament. So the other thing I have here is a syringe, which is going to help me put the polyacrylic into the ornament. I also made a DIY funnel. I didn't have one on hand, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to use one with paper. So I just kind of rolled paper and then I stuck it together with a piece of Scotch tape. And then finally, I have 2 cups. So one is going to catch the polyacrylic and the other is going to catch the glitter. And the other thing I have is I'm using an egg carton, and I saw this in another video and I thought it was so innovative. So we're gonna have to let our ornaments dry later on, and if you have like an egg carton, they stand really super well in them. All right, for the first step is I'm gonna take off the top of my ornament, I'm gonna put it aside, and then I'm just gonna place it down right there in my cup, and then I'm gonna take my syringe and I'm gonna scoop up just a little bit. We don't need that much. It actually goes pretty far, the polyacrylic. So about, in the syringe, it's about 4 or 5 milliliters. So maybe a teaspoon or 2. And then I'm just going to put that inside my ornament, like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna twirl it. And I have it kind of tilted on a 45-degree angle. And I want to make sure that that polyacrylic gets on all sides of the inside of this ornament. And sometimes you can kind of pause in an area for it to kind of pool. I learned that trick from another video. And then you can kind of restart twirling. And if you find that you don't have any polyacrylic that's moving inside, just go ahead and add some more in. And then I'm just going to make sure I have it, the spout, near my cup, so when it all flows out, it's going to be flowing into my cup. And I'm just going to give it a couple of taps, and I'm going to make sure I keep it centered also in the cup as well, so it flows and coats evenly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wait 1 minute just to let all that polyacrylic kind of settle out of the ornament. We don't want to wait too long, because what I've heard is if you wait more than a minute, then the polyacrylic kind of dries and it doesn't stick, the glitter doesn't actually end up sticking very well. So I'm going to set my timer on my phone to 1 minute and I'll be right back. All right, so it's been a minute, and then I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to put my DIY funnel inside of the mouth of my ornament, and then I have my glitter already. So I'm picking a beautiful magenta for this ornament, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some inside, and we don't want to add too much to begin with. We can always add as we go. So then I'm going to take out my funnel, And the best way I find to do this is to twirl that glitter around like that. The first time I did it, I shook my glitter, and what I found was I did it for this ornament over here, and you can't really see it on camera, but with the shaking method, the coverage is not the best. So I do still see kind of some spots where the glitter didn't stick to. So I found doing this twirling method works way better and gives like a thicker, more opaque coverage where you won't have those spots. So I'm gonna keep on twirling it. And then when I find, oh, this color is so beautiful. I love magenta. So once I find that there's no more glitter kind of flowing, I'm going to put in my funnel again and just keep on adding. And you want to work fairly fast here because you don't want that polyacrylic to get a chance to dry completely or get tacky, because then it's not going to stick properly. The glitter won't stick properly. And I'm going to get my other cup ready here to catch excess glitter. Oops. Uh-oh. Glitter all over. I knew that was going to happen. I am like the clumsiest person ever, and it was going to happen at least once in this project. Might as well happen at the beginning, right? So once my glitter is stuck all on the inside of my ornament, I'm just going to give it a few taps right into my cup here, just to get all that excess glitter out of my ornament so we don't waste any glitter. Just like that. So once all the glitter is all out, I'm gonna set this to dry on my egg tray. And it's gonna take about, I was reading the polyacrylic instructions, it's gonna take about 2 hours for it to set. Now, another thing I want to mention before moving on to the next ornament is that sometimes you can have sparse areas. Like for example, I have a sparse area here at the top. I'm not too concerned about that because it's going to be covered with my my cap here. But if you have some other areas where it's like it didn't really coat with the acrylic, or sorry, with the polyacrylic, then what you would do is you want to wait for it to fully dry and cure. And once it's fully dried and cured, then you can re-pour some more polyacrylic into your ornament and then add the glitter to it. What I've heard is if you pour the polyacrylic too soon before it has a chance to dry, it can just make a really big mess. So if you want a clean look, then wait for it to dry and then pour more polyacrylic inside. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I have all this excess glitter and I don't want to waste it, so I'm going to pour it in right back into the container. And then also for the polyacrylic, I'm going to pour that back into the container so there's no waste. All right, for our next ornament, I'm gonna do a swirl method with multiple colors. So the first step is I'm gonna add my polyacrylic into my ornament, and then I'm going to completely cover it. And I have 4 colors here, 4 like pastel light colors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the first one, which is this really beautiful light blue. And I'm gonna add just a little bit in at the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing and swirl that glitter at the bottom. I'm going to try to stay in kind of like a horizontal line going across the ornament. And then I'm just going to coat it like that much. So once I've coated just a little bit of our ornament, I'm going to repeat that same step now with our white. And coat right above that blue. And then I'm going to add some of this shimmery gold. Oh, that's gorgeous. Right there. And then finally, I don't want to cover too much of it because we're going to add my favorite color, pink. It's kind of like a pastel pink. So before it dries. So that's what our swirl technique looks like. All right, for the next method, I have my polyacrylic ready to go. And what we're gonna do for this one is we're gonna do a shaking method with, I have 5 colors here: purple, light blue, blue, gold, and white. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour the first color in, and then I'm gonna take a piece of paper towel and I'm gonna cover the top so I don't have like, this is like glitter like going everywhere. And then I'm just gonna shake it and it's gonna go wherever it's gonna go. So here we have like a nice stripe there. And then I'm gonna continue with the next color. So I'm gonna add in now a beautiful light blue. And I've never tried this method with the sparkles, so we're kind of learning together here. I've done this with paint and swirl ornaments though, and I'll leave a link in a card above to that one. That one's also really fun to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that napkin there and I'm just going to shake. And it's just gonna go wherever it wants to go. It's kind of like an abstract painting, intuitional abstract painting. Just gonna kind of let it do its thing. Let the glitter do its thing, right? And then just gonna repeat that now with a darker blue. Oops, added a lot of the dark blue, but that's all right. We're just going to work with it. There we go. It's nice and blue on that side. And we can't forget the gold. Gonna have to add the gold in. So cover it. Just gonna shake it. Oh yeah, that is gorgeous. Okay, so that is our shaking method, and I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. So we let kind of all the colors do its thing, and we had some fun, and we shook around all that glitter, and it creates a really beautiful look. All right, so my next ornament is ready to go, and for this one, as mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be using this chunky glitter, and I'm going to be combining a little bit of that finer glitter too. So what I'm going to do is add my funnel in, and this funnel has been super helpful. And then we're going to take this beautiful, it's like a champagne colored chunky glitter. Super excited to use this one. So I'm just going to pour that in. This is the star one. It's like a really cool star shape, so I'm going to add that in as well. And then I'm going to add my finer, it's like a champagne gold. And then what I'm going to do is going to take that out, grab a paper towel, and we're going to do the shaking method. So all three glitters are in there. We're just going to give it a shake just to see how it all kind of comes together. This is also an experiment, so we're going to find this out together. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So you can see that it has the different sizes of sparkles. And the nice thing with adding the finer sparkles is fills in the spaces in between them. So I think that looks really pretty. Very cool. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna do our next ornament. All right, the next ornament we're gonna do is gonna be half white, half sparkle ornament. And the way we're gonna get this look is we're gonna use some craft paint, some white craft paint, and I'm gonna pour that inside the ornament instead of the polyacrylic. And also, to begin with, I've also taken some painter's tape and I've put it across the midpoint of my ornament in preparation for the sparkle step. So I'm just gonna give it a good shake. And then I'm going to pour this white paint right into our ornament. Quite a bit of it, like that. And then I'm just going to swirl it, just like we did with the polyacrylic. And I like to use this dollar store craft paint by Deco Art because I find it's the perfect consistency. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. So I've done these paint swirl ornaments before, and I find if I thin it down too much, the paint, or if I use like a fluid additive, then once it dries, the paint doesn't really stick well to the sides of the plastic ornament, and it comes out a little bit transparent. So I love this consistency in particular with this Deco Art one because it coats it perfectly. Okay, so once you've got it all coated, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it upside down and just wait for it to drain. All right, so while the white drains, we can move straight to the glitter part. So what I have here is a little bit of Mod Podge, and I poured it out into a bowl. And then I just have a simple paintbrush here, and I'm going to paint, I'm gonna try to show you guys. I'm gonna paint right on top, like on the surface of the ornament that's on top of the painter's tape. And the reason I'm using Mod Podge here is because it's a little bit thicker, so it won't run down our ornament. Okay, and then once you have a nice coat of that Mod Podge, I'm just gonna lay that down. And I'm gonna cover it with some gold paint. So I covered my surface here with some paper just so I didn't get sparkles like absolutely everywhere. It's just easier for cleanup. And I'm just gonna pour some of that sparkles right on my paper. And then the nice thing here too is I can take this paper off later and scoop it and put it back, all the excess. And so I'm going to take my ornament like that, and I'm just going to use paper towel here just to cover the bottom so it doesn't spill, the white doesn't spill, like that. And then I'm just going to twist and turn that ornament right into our glitter. It's not going on exactly smooth, so what we're gonna do is I'm going to try pouring it. See there's like some pieces, or there's some areas where it didn't really apply. So what I'm gonna do before this Mod Podge has a chance to dry is I'm gonna just kind of go over all these areas here with my sparkles. And then I could always, all the sparkles that are falling, I'm gonna grab them and put them back so I'm not wasting them. Just wanna see if this method works a little bit better. Right there, some. I might have not added enough Mod Podge into some areas. To all those areas, I'm gonna add a little bit of extra Mod Podge. The ones that really kind of didn't take. And then I'm just gonna add my sparkles right on top. There we go. I'm gonna shake off the rest. This is a little bit of a messier technique for sure. So if you are kind of adverse to like sparkles being everywhere, then this might kind of like induce some anxiety. So, but if you don't mind sparkles, then this might be a fun thing to try. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to hold it by the tape, and then I'm going to put it like that, face down in my cup, just like that. And I'm gonna let it drain overnight. And then I'm gonna show you in the morning. I'm gonna take off the tape and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And also I'm going to go off camera and scoop all of this glitter back into this container. Wish me good luck. All right, so it's the next morning and I just wanted to show you all the ornaments all together. I put the caps back on and I added a couple extra surprises I did off camera. So to start out with, we did this one color glitter ornament with that magenta, and I also did a matching one with red. And the next one we did was this 4-layered glitter ornament where we did the blue, the white, the gold, and the pink, and it looks really cool. And then off camera, I did another version of this layered one. So this time I did black, navy, light blue, and silver. And then I took a step back and then it looked like a night sky to me. So I went ahead and took my Posca marker and just painted, I'm not sure if you can see them on camera, but I painted this tree line right across the black with my Posca marker, and then also some white dots with a white Posca marker. So that looks really pretty and unique. And then the next technique we did was that really fun shaking method where we kind of poured our glitter and then we let our glitter kind of do its own thing and just kind of worked along with it. And I think it looks really fun and really unique. And then the next technique we did was the chunky glitter. So this one here we did a mix of chunky glitter and also the finer glitter. And I find this ornament looks really antique. So it's very unique and antique, and it has a lot of like different interests to it. And then what I did off camera is that I wanted to test just the chunky glitter and not adding the finer glitter at all. So I went ahead and did that, and I absolutely love it. I love this look. So I just wanted to show you the comparison of the finer glitter versus the chunkier glitter, as I promised at the beginning of the video. So they both have their own beauty to them. This one, the finer glitter, it definitely catches the light a little bit more because the glitter is finer. But that being said, the chunkier glitter does shine as well. So the nice thing with this one is that it on its own, it's like a showstopper. I find with the finer glitter one, it'd be nice to do some extra embellishments and customizations on the surface, like maybe an initial or a name, but they both have their own beauty for sure. And then finally, we did the half paint and half glitter ornament. And to be honest, this one was, I didn't quite get the application right with the glitter, so I might have to do this again. The glitter kind of came out chunky and not really smooth. So you can see like there was parts where the glitter kind of didn't take, and it's not smooth. It has like a little bit of bumpiness to it. So I really love the look of this one, but I think I have to rethink the application of the glitter. But that being said, this is definitely going on my tree as is. I love it. I also added, I wanted to show you guys that you can actually add ribbon too to make it a little bit extra something something. So I got this ribbon from the dollar store and then I just glued it with a glue gun, and it just adds a little bit of extra bling to your ornaments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed getting sparkly with me today. Wishing you and yours a festive Christmas season ahead, and as always, lots of peace, love, and sparkly color your way.